ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Hey, Michael. Go.
Good evening, everyone. This is Michael C. Voice, broadcasting live from Hollywood, California. This is Last Night's Show with Ms. Melis. Tonight's guests are author and creative catalyst Debra Eckerling and digital marketing strategist Brian Fanzo. Together with co-host Cindy Harrison, here is the positively precious Melissa Reyes.
Positively precious. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And do you all see that? I have my mic on tonight. I hope you can hear me. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm going to move this out of the way because now I know that you can hear me. Hopefully the audience can hear me. And thank you so much for being here. The theme for tonight is risk. And we're going to be talking about taking risks. And I want to welcome my guest, Debra. Hi, Debra.
Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. You're such a sweetheart. I'm so excited to talk to you and to hear all about what you're up to. And Brian, welcome.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello. And I've got Cindy Harrison, my co-host, and I'd like to introduce her to Brian and Debra.
Hi, nice to meet you, Brian and Debra.
And
Thank you.
And of course, the voice of last night's show, Michael C. Voice.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Melissa. Hi, Brian. Hi, Debra.
Hello.
It's great to have you all here. Thank you very much for being here. And before we get started, I want to show you this really quick little video. Check this out. Okay, so that's a little video from Brianna McDowell. She's a new artist and voiceover artist, actress, and she did all of the art, animation, video production, and acting on that. So I just wanted to introduce you. I like to promote artists who are working hard, and so if you want to see more of her work, go to her website that was okipanoki.com and show her some love. She's really cool, and hopefully that kind of, I wanted to bring on that little bit of creativity because I was so impressed with it, but mainly because I feel like that is my connection with Debra. Debra is a creative catalyst. Right, Debra? And she's in... Oh, you didn't hear the audio on the animation. All right, I'm going to play it again at the end, and we'll turn the audio up on that because there's something was wrong with that. But you saw the animation out on Facebook, but they couldn't hear the audio, and it's really cute because that's her voice. But we'll try that one again later. But anyway, Debra, tell me about Write On Online.
Where to start? It is a website. Oh, hi. Now I can see all of my whole face. It is a website community for writers, creatives, and entrepreneurs. And it's something I started as a live writer support group when I lived in Chicago. And then I resuscitated it here in the early 2000s. And it was a strictly writers group for many years. In 2008, that was when Write On went online. Blogging and social media started to explode. I got to be at the beginning of that. And then 2008, I took a little break. It was virtual only. And then a couple years later, I'm like, you know what? It's time to remake the connection, real life, online. So I started doing my monthly meetings again. And they're all about goal setting and productivity. So it's, what are you working on? What did you accomplish? What goals are you going to set for next month? And at the time it got relaunched, I said, you know what? writers, everybody's a writer. So that was part of the reason to bring in entrepreneurs, which I am as well, and creatives, because we all need that structure, that whole community, and a place to connect with people outside of, this wonderful virtual life. So now it's Right On is a Facebook page, and of course everybody is more than welcome. I'll put links in, or if you want to
connect
join
with
the
her.
Facebook page, which is all about setting goals and then reporting on goals. And I always think it's very funny. Sometimes people set goals and they don't report on them, or they don't set goals, but then they did a lot, so they report at the end of the week. So that's kind of fun.
That accountability piece is so important.
Well, when I started the group, I was doing events for Barnes & Noble, and someone came in and said, why don't you start a writer support group? And I said, do you think people will come? Oh, yes. So I did, and they did. And it was great for me too, because I was encouraging people to set and achieve goals. So I had to do it myself, because I never asked anybody to do anything I'm not prepared to do myself. So during this, in the first version, I was writing spec articles, slice of life, and that was my goal for each meeting, was to write a new one of these articles. And sure enough, when I had the opportunity to submit to write for a magazine, I had articles because I set that goal for my writers group. So
it's so important
that's
to be.
How it started.
Yeah.
And what it's evolved. Yes.
Sorry, keep going. What it's evolved to, I want to hear.
Oh yeah. Well, it's evolved into now there's the page and the group. Do you remember when Facebook merged all the groups into pages? Okay, well they did. So originally Right On started as a group that became a page. So earlier this year I re-upped the group, and that is really more of a source for community. I've got threads almost every day. My favorite is Toot Your Horn Thursday, because people have, especially people who work alone or don't have people supportive of the creative life, they need a place to say, hey, I did this, and for people to like and cheer them on. So that's the whole point of what I do, is to help motivate people, which I do on the page in the group and also with my clients, to work on projects that they keep wanting to do, but they can't quite get it together. So I work with a lot of authors, would-be authors, entrepreneurs who've been meaning to write a book, been meaning to start a blog, and they've got all these ideas and they need help getting focused, setting a plan, and getting it done. And so that's how everything comes together. That was a really long answer.
That's okay. No, I love it. Now, there's so many things that dovetail into what Brian does. So first, let me ask you, have you ever done any podcasting?
I have the Guided Goals podcast, which I ran for about 8 months. And if you go to guidedgoals.com, you could see those.
What is it called?
Guided Goals.
Guided Goals. Got it.
GOALS.com podcast.
Cool.
And it was audio and video, and then iTunes, and it was a lot of fun. I call it season 1. I have not yet started season 2, but I'm kind of anxious. But what happened was, my book, Right On Blogging, 51 Tips to Create, Write, and Promote Your Blog, it was never going to get done if I kept doing my podcast. So, and that's the other thing, it's all about priorities. What are you going to work on? We all have dozens of projects, right? But you could really only successfully work on, if you're lucky, 5. But you know what I'm saying? You work, you have a life, you like to eat, you like
it's
to
like the magic number, like 5, because we have, like 5 things we can handle at one time, or 5, plates in the air. That's interesting. That is, now I really want to go to Brian, because there's so many things I want to ask him. So Brian, welcome to Last Night's Show with Ms. Meliz. First of all, he has a podcast, he's writing a book, he's got a family, he's travels all over the place, he's just speaking at events. So how do you manage all of that?
I think I need to take notes on the prioritization side of the house. I think I have enough plates in the air. It's now figuring out which ones to always focus on. But part of it, I love what I do. So I think It allows me to, people will ask, how do I find time to tweet or document on Snapchat or Instagram? And part of that to me is just fun. I really enjoy it, and that adds to the ability to kind of juggle more things. But I love being able to kind of chart my own path, while at the same time kind of taking on different projects. I host 2 podcasts now. One of them I've hosted for 4+ years, and then the second one I launched in December, which is a solo podcast. And so I'm a big fan of when everyone's zigging, I like the zag, and that usually sometimes puts me with new things and trying to chart new paths. But I love, part of it is goals. I'm very driven by not only goals, but I like to define what success looks like of each individual project. Therefore, I'm not comparing myself to someone else. I'm actually comparing myself to trying to achieve what I kind of define out of the gate, which has kind of been my secret. I'm not trying to have, ideally, I would love to have my podcast on the front page of iTunes and be a massive podcast. But what I was trying to do was reach a new audience and have people discover me that didn't know what iSocial Fans was. And through 53 episodes, that's already been a success in that sense. So for me, that's partially what really motivates me, is kind of defining success on a new project and not being afraid that my success doesn't measure exactly what someone else's success might be.
Well, you have a lot of great tools. I have to say, now I've just met Debra recently, and I'm starting to do her teach her own horn and do some things in the group. I like that one. But I want to do the meetups and stuff, but I have been following you, Brian, for a long time, and I've learned a lot of things that you do, you talk about, I was doing, so I get excited. I'm like, I do that. But, like I take screenshots and I save those, and I write things out like in kind of like a word map, or and you do this. You have this big board that you write up everything on, and it's just genius things that you do. And I think your claim to fame, and I don't know if you know this or not, but you just have those zingers, those things that you say that just sound so tweetable.
I talk in tweetables. I will say that's the and it's an advantage. Early on in my career as a speaker, I got off stage and someone said, you talk really fast, but you tweet faster, and that's where the talk faster element came in. And for me, one of the things I talk about is think like a fan, and I always thought whenever I was in the audience that it's hard to keep up with everything that goes on. I talk really fast to begin with. And I know certain people only take out a certain amount of things. And if I can make things like screenshot awesomeness, which is the thing that I worked with my team. I had a team, and it was hard as a social media team, as everyone kind of knows in that space. Oftentimes you have really big goals, but you're throughout the day, or throughout the week, or throughout the months, the year, you have highs and lows. And unfortunately, we spend a lot of time dwelling with the lows. We don't spend enough time celebrating our highs. And if we don't document our highs along the way, when someone comes to the end of the road and say, what did you guys do? It's hard to remember what you did, or, keep on that long path. And so screenshot awesomeness was something that I came up with. And I'm very much, I've struggled writing. Grammar is something I've always struggled with. And I'm one of those people that I had to come up with ways for me to remember things, as well as ways for me to get excited about things. I'm a little bit competitive. I'm a little bit, I love the idea of transparency and kind of public accountability. For a long time, I said my Snapchat group was really group therapy, because I would put things out there in my Snapchat community, and I would say, hold me accountable. I did that with a podcast. When I launched my FOMO Fans podcast, a good friend of mine said, you need to get to 100 episodes before you can commit to a podcast being successful or not. And so when I launched my podcast, I launched it with 3 numbers. So episode 1 was 001. I'm on episode 53, which is 053. And my commitment was, I'm going to make it to 100. And part of that is that a public accountability and kind of putting things out there. So I appreciate the kind words. And I've always kind of believed in, you don't have to know everything. It's more about sharing what you do know and allowing people to know how you do what you do, because oftentimes the common sense isn't common to everyone, and we can all learn by kind of sharing what we know. And that's been I've been very blessed to have an amazing community that really takes a hold of a lot of the things that I do, especially the tweetables that happen to work out. I'm actually in Lima, Ohio, one of the two. I pronounced it wrong earlier today, but I was speaking at University of Northern Ohio this morning, and it was a great group of college students that are marketing, getting their MBA in marketing,
cool.
and talking about like a fun place to kind of like inspire the future generation. And I was telling them many times, like, just take away a tweetable, just take away one or two of these things. Funny thing was, most of them aren't on Twitter, so I think that's a whole nother piece. But
they weren't on Twitter. They weren't.
No, unfortunately.
It's
Instagram.
surprising.
They're on Instagram.
Yeah, it's surprising who and who isn't. Have you heard of Ash Catch? At Ash Catch? Okay, oh gosh, I need to grab my phone to remember this, but she was on Mike Thorpe. Do you know Mike Thorpe? Mm-hmm. Okay, so he had an anchor interview, and he was interviewing Ashley Katchadorian, and it was really great. And so I was connecting with them, and she's really into Twitter, and I was surprised. They're kind of a younger person. I say younger person, not young person, but younger person. And she's really, was into Twitter. So we had this great Twitter talk. But you just never know who's. I love Twitter. Now that's kind of how I met Debra, through Video Reply Day. And so, I'm just loving my Twitter fam. And we're going to be doing Bubbler Chat. I have to throw that out there. In fact, we kind of already started. I'm going to start like a weekly topic, just throwing it out there. The chat goes all week long. Just use Bubbler Chat as your, as in the tweet. And if you follow the hashtag and you do a video answer to the tweets, I will reply with, I'll tell you more later. But anyway, I've got a thing going right now where I'm going to give something special as a reply, as an answer if somebody does a video in that Bubbler chat topic this week. I can't get this out right, but you know what I mean. It's awesome. I have it all planned. I'll tell you later. So, but that actually reminds me that I wanted to check in with Cindy and see how the comments are going, because that's what I wanted to do, is put that out into the comments. Is there anybody out there?
Well, yeah, Sabrina's Kadini's here.
Oh, Sabrina! Thank you so much. Another Video Reply Day friend. Hello.
Yeah, and she's enjoying the conversation, and she loves everything that's being said so far. I'm just trying to look.
Oops. Oh, I had to move.
She's
We
great.
are not all named Brian Fanzo, by the way. I'm new
see.
with this.
Sometimes I can't see all of the comments because I change.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get caught up on comments. I kind of put Cindy on the spot there, and I had to turn mine off because I was having troubles too, but we're going to get caught up. And thank you for leaving comments. And Sabrina's awesome for kind of like, if anybody needs an answer on anything, maybe Sabrina will do it for me. So, I'm really excited about talking to both of you, because you have come so far. So I want you to think back to when you were just starting out. And first, before that, do you know each other?
We've met.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're Facebook friends, so
Well,
Yeah,
that I knew. Okay. And then
Hi, Brian.
a lot of times it's funny because like Ross Brand and Madeline Sklar were on the show, and they were like, I know you, but I don't really know you. We haven't met in person yet. So this was this time that they first kind of met. So that I wasn't quite sure if you guys had met, but awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're all here together. It's so exciting. Now your last night show with Ms. Liz fam. So much fun. Yeah. So anyway, I want you to think back and before if you reached some type of pinnacle where you kind of like felt like, okay, I'm here now, I've arrived, people know me, I'm doing what I love doing. Did you feel like it was a risk? Were you taking some type of risk, and what did it feel like, and what kind of advice would you give your younger self? Debra, what would you tell the Debra just before you wrote your 51 tips, and just before you really got going on giving that type of advice?
Can I instead give the advice that I give to like any young person who will listen to me?
Sure.
Because I think that one of the things, and first of all, I'll just to not completely cheat off of your question, because I don't want to do that, is when you put any of yourself out there, your creative self, like I've written 2 books. My first one was writing prompts book. for kids, which I did because I wanted, you know, well, I coached author. I wanted to have a book. So that was part of it. But it was my blogging book. I'm like, okay, I'm sending this to the universe because I know my stuff, and people who know my stuff, but to have something out there that people who don't know me are going to read, that was a little bit freaky,
Right.
but in fun. So that was when you do anything creatively, when you perform.
Oh, she froze.
Obviously, I am not shy. I think I had a phase when I was a kid, briefly, when I was, but I've mostly been like this for the majority. And it's great. But one thing that I tell people is, you learn, and this is the other reason I did the kids' writing prompt book, you learn to write. I know my stuff. And you learn to speak when you're young, and then you can conquer the world. You really need to spend the time practice. I competed on the speech team in college. It was great. It was bonding and it was fun, but it was a way to practice self-expression. So whether I'm speaking to a small workshop, a large workshop, I've done 140 conference, which is like huge live and virtual audience. Doesn't matter what size, I can talk to anybody and I love it. And I do attribute a lot of it to having this practice growing up in practice writing. So that's the advice I would tell anybody. And for those who say, oh, I don't know how to write, I'm not good. No, writing is like one of those things that you can get better at. All you have to do is practice. And you start by journaling, write about the things that make you happy, write about the things that frustrate you, practice on the things that you're not going to publish to develop your style and tone, so that way when you're ready to, you have your tone and style, and it makes writing not painful. So
I totally am on board 100% with what you're saying, and I feel like I did that too. Like I had to get over that wanting to, I don't know why I'm not switching over. There we go. I had to get over that wanting to do writing the right way because, you know, I had this college prep education where I'm like, kind of my glasses are bothering me. Anyway, sorry. Shiny object. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, you know, like I wanted to write a book. I was a blogger. I was writing a lot. People were telling me that I had a great writing style, but I always felt like, yeah, but I'm just a blogger. That's just because I'm writing how I talk. But when I want to really write for reals in a book, it's going to be different because I'm going to go back to writing, you know, the way I learned how to write in school. And then I finally, you know, had this idea like, well, I'm just going to make my blog my book and publish it. And that is, you know, because I started thinking, wait, I'm already a writer. And once I decided that that was okay, it changed everything. And when I go back and, you know, read what I wrote or somebody quotes me or something, you know, that realization is like so huge. If I had just known that sooner or somebody had given me that advice earlier, so much, you know, I think I would have had much more confidence a lot earlier on. I don't know what I would have done with it because I love my life the way it is, but it's, you know, that is such golden advice. Great advice. I don't know if it's risky though, risk taking. Like what about you, Brian? What risks were you willing to take to get where you are today?
You know, I think for me it was a big, you know, November 2013, I kind of hated social media. I felt overwhelmed by overly always worrying about trying to post something or share something that I thought other people wanted to hear, or what I thought everyone else was doing, what I thought the people that I looked up to were doing. And I kind of had a realization around that month that I was just gonna, you know, one of the things my dad had always told me was like, you know, what you do really well, even in high school and college growing up, was that you did a great job of kind of sticking true to who you were and allowing yourself to stand out based on what you were, which was unique. And I think for a while, digital to me was my opportunity to not be myself and try to be someone else that I thought other people wanted it to be. And it was hard and painful and I hated it. And I decided, you know, I think a risk for me was I was just going to own who I was. I was going to share every bit of things from, hey, I have tattoos. Hey, I talk about my kids because my daughters are a big part of my life. Hey, I like to wear backwards hats. I have Pittsburgh Steelers colors. And it was a big deal for me. I don't think it didn't feel risky because I was very transparent and outgoing in my personal life, but it was a very big shift because I can tell you I started tweeting my thoughts instead of tweeting or overly thinking about tweeting what I thought other people wanted to hear from me. And I began to enjoy it. And I still say to this day, my favorite compliment I get when I get off stage is that someone says, Brian, you're the same person online as you are on stage and offline when I meet you. And that to me is the greatest compliment because I don't look at digital anymore. I don't look at social media anymore as separate from my life. It's part of it's an extension. It allows me to amplify what I'm already doing. But part of that question also is a risk for me, and it goes to the blogging writing thing, is if I had to go back and tell my 2013 self, I would have said start a blog earlier. I kind of was challenging the status quo, and I said, I have a great social footprint. I like to curate content, but I was like, I don't need a blog. I don't even need a website. And I have a web design degree, so this is where I was going at it, and I quickly realized I was wrong. And the power of not only written word online from search, but getting things out there. But the way that I got over it was actually my podcast. I realized that I loved creating my podcast, and my podcast was what I like to say my first passion content. And when I got over the hump of creating passion content very easily, I started to figure out a way to like blogging. And I will tell you, writing is still a struggle for me. Creating my blog, I write about, I do one podcast blog a week and one where I write a week. It's something that, Deb said, I've learned to not only like it, but I've learned to manage expectations for my blog. And I always laugh, it might not be grammar perfect. It might not be stylistic perfect. Sure, it's not SEO perfect, but it's my way of conveying my message. And the way that I think about it is it's better than not having anything at all, right? And for a while I overthought it, and I think video helped that as well. I have a saying that perfection's a fairy tale, and if you remember that perfection's a fairy tale in everything you do, it's a lot easier to press the publish button or the go button or the go live button or the whatever button you need to press. And that was something that to me, once I got over that, it was such an easier journey, and it's so much fun telling. Like my favorite thing to do now, which is what I was doing here, was helping other people tell their story. I think we're living in the greatest time that there is, because if you like underwater basket weaving and doing it in your socks, you can find other people that like underwater basket weaving and doing it in their socks. And that's part of it. And I think if I can help, one person each time that hears me to tell their story, then I think we'll get more good stories in the world, and that will drown out the bad stories, because we can't fight the bad by highlighting to the bad. It just brings the bad to the surface. And so I guess that's where I look at it, and I share, my blogs. I often laugh because I'll go back like a year ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I published that. But ultimately, it allowed me to get to where I'm at today, and it allowed me to get to, a step further. And so I think
a little frozen there too. So, it's so neat to hear how.
Kind of just remembered how that worked.
Yeah, that's so awesome, Brian. It's neat to hear how you think and thinking back and how everything evolved. Using that word again, just do you have a team right now? Do you have people who are doing this? Or are you still doing it? Oh my God, you're still doing it all yourself.
I say I'm a one-man show for the most part. Rachel does a lot of my design work, so like the logo itself, and a lot of my design.
Shout out to Rachel.
Yeah, shout out to Rachel. Yes.
Yes.
But my every reply tweet is me. Every graphic that goes on Instagram is me. Every blog graphic is me. Every podcast edit, every video edit, every video post. That's 100% me. I am getting. I will say I started to outsource my show notes this month. For my podcast, it's a step in the right direction.
Gotta let a little of it go.
Taken that step a year ago, but I'm slowly getting more okay. I wouldn't even say more okay with that. I don't have a control problem. I have more of a belief that if I feel like I can do it, why not do it? And there is a point where time runs out and you must scale at some point. But yeah, right now it is majority of everything you see posted from me is produced, edited, and published by me.
That's terrific. I mean, you do a lot of great work. You put out so much content, and it's all you. Like, you know, it just does seem like it's your personality. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, I feel like I know you probably better, or I'm more comfortable talking to you than I should be, because we don't really know each other, but because you're so personable. And I find that a lot with people, not just social media, but with people who are, you know, in the public eye, but because of social media can be a two-way conversation. So, you know, I feel like you know me too. Obviously you do now, but for a while, which is kind of cool. But how does that feel like for you? Because way more people probably feel that way than you actually do know. What is it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I believe, you know, I always say I will never turn down a hug or a selfie, and I mean that, because to me, you know, the saying that most people know that I've said, my dad told me that, you know, hey son, social media won't replace the handshake, and I replied back and said, Dad, you're right, it won't, but it gives me the opportunity to have more handshakes and turn some of those handshakes into hugs and selfies, and that's kind of where that came from. And for me, every time where I meet somebody that maybe I've engaged with for years online, and I meet him for the first time and I get that hug, it's validation for being yourself online, sharing your story online. And it's amazing, because I think sometimes we forget, in a world that has so many touch points that we have available today. I always remind people that's like, you think about it, like if you wake up in the morning and say, I inspire one person, or I have a better relationship with one person today, who wouldn't sign up for that, right? It's kind of, we kind of get overwhelmed sometimes, you know, and I'm very thankful. I have a large community, a large group of listeners, but I to me, the value is proved in every one hug that I get, right? It's not in like 1,000 retweets. It's that person that does feel like they can connect with me. And oftentimes, I'm an extrovert, but I hate small talk. And so for me, part of what I've done is I've eliminated small talk, because if you follow me on any channel or you listen to anything I do, the first time we have a conversation, it's not how's the weather, you know, what's the latest thing you've done. It's immediately like, oh, I love seeing your podcast, or what's the next state you're going to, or how, you know, and it's a conversation where I think it's much more value, much more respectful of time, and that also gives us the ability to scale. Because, you know, when you think about it, I have a line of people that when I get off stage, and a majority of them have tweeted at me before I got on stage, have shared my content, and it's not, hi, how are you doing? It's usually like, oh, I know your name, or oh, I know your Twitter handle, and I think that it makes it all worth it to me.
That's so cool. I noticed your shirt says creativity something, and we're all, you know.
Yeah, so it says creativity is intelligence having fun.
That's cool.
Which is the Albert Einstein quote that this is a South by Southwest shirt. It was raining. I had to go on stage, and I had literally what I was wearing was soaking wet, and I was walking by a little table outside at South by, and they were dry, and I was like, I'll buy a shirt for $10. And sure enough, I wore it on stage, and it was the most talked about element of it. Like my slides that I had worked on for months, no one was talking about that. They were literally talking about this shirt. So I wore this shirt on stage today here at this event. It's kind of a fun way to kind of add that creativity element to people's conversation.
Perfect. Now, if we had another half hour, we could all talk about creativity and being creatives, and you know, I just would love that topic, but maybe we'll have to come back and have a part 2. But I do want to talk about something creative with Cindy. Now, Cindy is my co-host, Cindy Harrison. I don't know if you know her, Brian and Debra, you may know her, and I know Michael knows Cindy. Now, Cindy and I have a show, or a couple of shows that we do together, and one is called Paint with Heart. It's actually an art class. And last year, Cindy produced this book. I'm going to kind of show it here. It's called Paint with Heart 2016 Ornament Collection. She went through and did all of the instructions and step-by-steps for all the art projects that we did last year for leading up to Christmas, with pictures and the instructions for this ornament collection that we made. And we make 1 or 2 ornaments a week leading up to Christmas. We're going to do it again this year, not this week. So you tell us about that, Cindy.
So yeah, I just want to say that I feel like Brian Fanzo is like a soul mate or something, because everything he's saying is like so me, you know, and it's like, I have to catch up to you, of course. I'm not a blogger and all that other stuff, but everything else is like spot on. It could be me saying that stuff, but yeah, my goal is to teach the world to paint one brushstroke at a time. And I inspired 7 people today. I went down to Western Massachusetts and I taught a class, and they came away saying, "You're going to come back next year, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. You want me? I'll be back." But they're inspired to get creative, and that's what it's all about. And so this year we're doing another ornament collection kit, and I sell the kits as well. So there's 6 weeks of painting ornaments, and who doesn't love an ornament? And that's like a gift I feel you can give anybody, because it's something they put away. You know, it's like they don't have to find space for it except for on a tree, and they can put it away every year. And when they bring it out the next year, they think of you. That's the way I look at it. I tell people, if you don't know what to get me an ornament, because every time I pull it out and I put it on the tree, I'll think fondly of the person or the event that we shared together or something like that. So this year I have another kit going together. This little guy here is going to be the Grinch. I don't know
so
how,
much fun.
but it will be. I have a test tube that's going to be a snowman. Hey, you know, you got to think, you know, see it in your mind's eye, right? I haven't done them yet, obviously. There's the sled, there's some keys. Keys are really good, big in the industry. Everyone loves keys. But I have 12 ornaments that we're going to paint, including this little mailbox. And they're 2 a week. And what I do is anyone who shows up for the class will get a password to watch the full replay. If you don't show up for the class, or you don't buy the book, or you don't buy the kit of all these ornaments, you only get to see 1 ornament a week. But that's kind of to try and entice people to show up. But Brian, it's like, I just love what you said. And I get that when I go to these conventions, people are doing this thing to me like, I know you. And then they want to hug you. And of course, I never refuse hugs and selfies either. So it's like, if I don't ask someone, when Melissa was with me in San Diego, if I don't ask someone to take a selfie with me, they're insulted. You can tell their face. Didn't you think that, Melissa? Their face was kind of drawn. And it was like they wanted to be, you know, like, why didn't she offer to take a picture with me? You know? So, of course.
And she talks to everybody for a long time, and like, you know, the stories just go on, and the connections. I know you here, and we were there, and it was, you know, she's just a hoot too. She likes to tell everybody. I don't want to get started. We've traveled together twice, but we met online. So Cindy and I do these shows together, and we have, how many episodes do we have of Paint with Heart? 62?
6. I just was working on that. Yeah, I think we had 62. We're up to 63.
She teaches them, and she designs the lesson and teaches them online, and I learn, and so I'm painting along with her, and we do this online, and it's private. It's not, we don't live stream them because it's like 2-hour lesson, but then she does put the videos up on YouTube. So anyhow, that's the whole story about that. So thank you for sharing with us, Cindy. We are very inspired by what you do, and it helps us to have the confidence to continue and to reach out and find the people out there who are interested in what we're doing. And just, you know what, the bottom line is, it makes us happy. We're happy, and it's so much fun. And that's, you know, that's why I have a late night talk show, because I always wanted to do it, and it's fun. What does that have to do with anything else I do? Probably nothing, but I love it. And I get to meet you and talk to you. So, Michael C. Voice. Let's hear your voice, Michael.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good. I just love that voice. All right. Have you ever played Risk?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh. Now, Brian told me that he played Risk a lot in college. And Cindy downloaded that app that I started talking about earlier, because, you know, the theme is Risk this week. But I just couldn't get into it. I tried. I did. I thought we might play a round of Risk. But we did find another game. Have you ever played darts, Michael?
Darts?
Yeah, you know.
Like regular darts, yes.
Yeah, like the target. No, dart.
Yep.
So there's a game on Facebook, Facebook Game Room. You can look it up on your Facebook. Not right now. Don't go away or anything, people. But you can look at it later, and it's called Risky Darts. So I thought that I might share my screen now. If you guys can stay for a little while, a couple minutes, we'll play around. Okay? All right? Everybody go for it. Game? Okay. Now, Cindy, can you check in the comments and see if anybody wants to come on and play with us? We'll get Brian and Debra to play.
Jennifer is in the room.
Okay, see if Jennifer's awake. If she's awake enough and wants to play with us. Otherwise, we'll just play here. It's a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up first. I think. Yes. Oh, okay. And then I'm going to share my screen over here. Let's see if I can get this to work. Oh, boy. What did I do? I don't want this here. Okay, this is new. This is a new thing. It's kind of scary. All right. So now Facebook can now see my screen. I'm gonna play Risky Darts. Oh, where'd he go? Now they want me to play something else. Where'd my Risky Darts go? Oh, there he is. All right. So, all right. So I'm gonna play this. I'm going to do this new guy. I'm going to try not to hit the guy. Ah! Uh-oh. I'm not... Ah! Okay. There. I got it. So you see it? Can you see it on Facebook? Anybody see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Ah!
Yes, we see it.
It's going faster. Ah! Oh no!
Oh,
I got him right
between
the eyes.
Sabrina and Anna. Anna's in the room. If either of you would like to play, let me know and I'll send you the link.
Yeah, not only do you need to come in the room here, but you also need to download this so that you can play and try to beat my score. Ah! Oh, there. Okay. Oh, only.
That looks dangerous.
It's gonna go fast. I'm really not good at this. It's gonna be really easy to beat me. Anyway, I get vertigo really easy, so I'm trying not to get dizzy. No! Uh-oh, we're in advertising now. Okay. Oh, that was lame. Ah! Oh, come on, I can do it. There. No, more? Oh, jeez. I do it fast. There, okay. Alright, so that will be easy for you guys. My total score, no, just the match score, right? What's today's score? 7,000? Okay, I think it's 7,000, because I played before, it's giving me my total score from before. I think it's 7,000 we want to try to beat. Okay, so what you need to do is, did everybody download the game? Debra, did you?
I did not, because I didn't want, I know, I'm terrible. I didn't want my Facebook to make noises in the background of here.
Okay, well now you can. Now you can do it. Well, I'm going to turn this guy off. Oh, and stop sharing. Uh-oh. I didn't turn you guys off, did I? No. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so now if anybody else wants to play, what you have to do is first go to Facebook Game Room and make sure you can access that game. And then come in the room with us, and then you can share the screen. And... no, if you share your screen, are you going to show up on my screen?
Anna,
oh, yes. We have to make it everybody show on the screen.
Anna said this could really get bad really quick, so it could go really bad really quick.
It's already gone bad.
I can't even say it.
It's already gone bad. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off broadcasting anybody else but me playing this game, but that was the risk I took, so it was a little bit entertaining. Anyway, so does anybody else want to talk about about that. And can you tell me if Hanny Mora is in the comments or whatever? Because Hanny was going to try to stay up and see if maybe he can come in and say hi. And if he is there, I want to make sure we don't ignore him. So
I haven't seen him.
Okay. So that was. But would you see him if you're not friends with him? Are any of you friends with Hanny? Brian, you friends with Hanny? Mora? Oh, I'm gonna have to open my phone and see. It's just to make sure, because I don't want to miss him.
I'm assuming that Bubbler Media is probably Jennifer, and she says she's gonna go.
I'm just wanting to make sure that we didn't miss him. I just put his name in here just to double check, because I'm starting to use the Repurpose.io app, and so when this episode is over, it's going to automatically post to YouTube. So it's the first time I'm ever doing that. This is why I was trying to get those graphics up on OBS so that I won't have to go in and edit it. So I'm really, really nervous. But I'm excited too, because that is a big risk for me, because I want to make sure that my shows I'm upping my YouTube game, everybody. So I'm really hoping that anybody who's seeing this will go to subscribe to my YouTube channel and connect with me there, because I have been posting shows onto YouTube for so long that I have I'm going to just say it, and I know it's not about numbers, okay? But I have 123 subscribers, and I have more video show content, more outnumbered than the subscribers. So I have over 100 episodes on there, which is sad. So that means, that's ridiculous, right? I really need more people to be seeing that content, so I gotta get, going on that work. So, it's all on me. It's all about me doing the ask, which is a risk, and which I learned. Brian talked about the ask. I learned a lot from you there, Brian. But I know all this, so I just got to get out there and do it. And that's, that takes a lot of guts. It really does for me, because I'm not the kind of person who asks. So next week, my show. Last night's show with Ms. Meliz, Cindy, and Michael. We are going to be doing a Halloween special. It's called Spooky Tinseltown Tales, 4th year in a row. And I have put together a playlist on YouTube, the Tube of the U. And you can see the previous 3 episodes and a couple of other fun Halloween themed. And I would love for everybody to go over there and check it out. Of course, you'll be able to see the replay of this and all of the other last night shows, because I've got a playlist for that. You'll be able to see my BBFFE, and I on Paint with Heart, because I've got a playlist for that. And of course, Inspiring Adventures. And I'm also connected with Debra and Brian and Michael and Cindy and everybody who's ever been on last night's show, because I've, connected and put their recommended pages there. So I really feel like YouTube's a great community, just like Facebook. How's that?
I like it.
Awesome.
Okay. Everything on my list is checked off.
Woot.
You are now free to go. Anyway, does anybody have any questions or parting comments? Because I am so excited, because I am on target.
I love it. I call this perfect timing. My battery on my laptop says 1%. So the whole time I was like, I was like lowering the brightness, and so it was 1%. We did it was perfect timing, perfect stuff.
If I had an angel sound effect, I would do angels, but I'm just going to do this one.
I love you.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Have a great
meeting you. Great meeting you, Brian.
Brian.
day.
Good night. And Debra?
Well, for the risk, I want to give everybody a bonus goal, because I do that.
Okay.
Think about the one thing that you keep thinking that you want to do, that you keep putting on next week's list and the week after and the week after, and just do it. Do a part of it. Do some sort of win in relation to that goal, and then let me know about it. Connect on either the page or the group or both, or write on online, or shoot me an email or friend request me or whatever. But really, it's okay. passion project, the thing that you really want to do, give yourself permission to do it. Give yourself the time to do it, because this is what we do things for. This is why we create. We create for the world, but we really need to do the projects that are closest to our hearts, because those are the ones where our passion and enthusiasm really shine. So that's the bonus goal. Do a part of your passion project that you keep avoiding because you know you want to. So I'm giving you permission.
Awesome. That's so amazing. And for me, that is the YouTube. It was a challenge. I really avoided it for a long time, but we're going to do that now. We're going to be superstars on YouTube and just really, make that content pay us back. We've been putting a lot of it out there, and I say we because Cindy and I are connected with that. So, and we're excited about it. So, Cindy, good night. See you tomorrow for Paint with Heart. And Michael?
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Nice meeting you, Deborah.
Nice to meet you. Thank you all for having me.
Aw.
Bye.
Lito and I are in front of the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. It's gonna be a fun night. We're both in here. Hi!